There was some problems with the CG rendering that you had to touch up a bit.
Yes.
Like when he's running in the parking lot, there was something with the shoulders dislocating while he was running, right?
When you're at the cutting edge of technology in computer graphics at that time, it was a huge achievement to achieve what we did. But at the end, there's always that last, 5 or 3% that's just really hard. The computer just can't do it. So there's errors in there. And no matter what, you can't go back and re-render it. And so we decided, at that time that, okay, maybe it involves some hand painting on there, because I was already familiar with Photoshop. And so then that's when we merged the two, and that's where the whole new sort of division came out of a paint out team, where you paint out wires and things. But I was one of the very first to actually take that footage and working with Dennis Mirren, we decided, okay, there's all these errors that the computer is doing, but can we go in there frame by frame and paint them out and clean it up? Wow. And it worked out really well, because for example, when the T1000 walks through the metal bars, the bars penetrated the 3D form, pretty well, but there were still some errors, and so it looked false. It didn't look real. So I went in there and cleaned it up, painted shadows, and tried to blend it as much as I can with the computer graphics. And it was very painstaking, work. It was literally painting, every frame. But at the end, when you see the whole experience, it actually works really well. We actually took it one step further. So in the end, during the whole transformation, we actually were trying to figure out different kinds of transformations. So there's 3D transformations, morphing. But then Dennis thought, oh, can we actually use Photoshop and paint a transition? And there's one sequence in there where it's 38 frames where one character transforms to the other, and they're 38 paintings that I did. And it was really hard because you're essentially doing 38 little mini matte paintings that have to blend perfectly. Now, today, it'd be so easy on a Macintosh and on any computer. Back then, it was so painstakingly hard, because when you're painting on a frame, you can make one frame look good, but then the next frame won't match it exactly, so you get all this chattering. And so it was a struggle to try to make it all blend together. And then the second one was that we actually used a Photoshop filter to do a transition. If you look at it, there's one sequence where the face actually twists into a squirrel and then unwraps into another character. And that was done by progressively using the Photoshop filter and just doing it in increments, frame by frame. There's a whole bunch of sequences, I believe 3 or 4 major transitions between characters. Because when it was malfunctioning, it basically became all the earlier, all the earlier different versions.